Okay. That's better. Well guys, it has been officially 2 months since Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom has been released, and I know a lot of people might be questioning why I've released this video of all the videos, because we now have Super Mario Party Jamboree and Mario and Luigi Brothership out. Well, here's the thing, I don't have them yet. Just check out my last video. Not the point now. I'm talking about Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom because I may have made a huge discovery on where it fits in on the timeline. Now before I get too into it, stop what you're doing, hit the like and subscribe buttons. They help the channel grow, and I can finally make memberships so that I can finally get some cash. I really appreciate all of you. Next people who subscribe, I will give a shout out in the next video. So, and while you're at it, drop a comment, because I have a couple of things I wanted to go over. Like, for example, there's what Nintendo could be doing for Switch 2, launch titles we might want, stuff like that. Drop comments of what you want to see for Switch 2 starting in the comments section, okay? Now, of course, we have Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom starting off automatically with Link in his cloak, and he takes out a couple of baddies. This is all my own footage, let me just say that. Anyway, he has every heart container and every heart piece. He's 100, whoever played whatever video game he's on, he has every little heart container, every heart piece. He has his key items, and he's ready to take down the final boss, which is Ganon in this case, and this is actually the only time we're allowed to play as Link. Anyway, Link defeats Ganon, only for a rift to appear at the spear's foot, which apparently is a natural cause or a natural disaster in that era of Legend of Zelda. Zelda breaks out of the crystal and gets the cloak, only for the rift to start growing. Barely just making it out, the title screen flips on, we have Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, the game really started. As it turns out, these rifts have apparently been natural disasters in Hyrule for decades to almost centuries. So we can definitely assume that this has a new beginning to it. But let's also take into account that Zelda didn't know who Link was, and that it doesn't just stop there. I've noticed I can name a couple of games, not just Echoes of Wisdom, but a couple of other Legend of Zelda games where Zelda is unbeknownst to Link in some sort of way, but Link knows Zelda being the princess and all. Games like Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, stuff like that. Most games that would be on the Mount Rushmore, well, especially my Mount Rushmore of Legend of Zelda games, the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker would be my Mount Rushmore of games. So we can definitely say for sure that this is another one of those scenarios where Link is unknown to the princess of which she gets saved by him. A rift opens up behind the king and his advisors, and they all get sucked in and look to be turned to stone. Imposters pop out, and a soldier takes Zelda into the dungeon. Zelda meets this little fairy looking thing known as Tri, who apparently is supposed to help seal up the rifts. Tri then gives Zelda the Tri-Rod, whatever it's called, to create echoes to help her escape from Hyrule Castle, and soon enough get to the southern part of Hyrule, only for her to be in the village of where Link used to be. That musty old cloak must be nice and warm in that heat of the beach. Oh man. She makes her way to the Suthorn Temple, where she needs to seal up a rift inside the temple with the seismic talus. On their way there, Tri informs Zelda that any people who get sucked in to the rifts are soon going to be faded away. So by fixing the rifts and all that stuff, Tri is able to create new bodies for the consciousness or souls of whatever people to get out and go into those new bodies. We even see how Zelda needs to help Mr.L, one of the advisors of the king, to get out of the Southern Temple's rift. Zelda and Tri make their way through the temple and take down Seismic Talus, which helps Tri to find her friends, his or her friends, and seal up the rift and create echoes of everything in reality. I guess the rifts are able to change people for better or worse, because even Ludwig mentions that surviving the rifts must have brought change. I guess any echoed bodies of moblins and darkness and stuff must also be able to see Tri, but these are something else. After sealing up both rifts, Zelda makes her way back to Ludwig's house where General Wright is going, only for there to be a little discussion, which ends up with General Wright pushing right through into the Hyrule Castle town. Once the rift grows, General Wright gets his men under control to get everyone evacuated for Zelda to seal up the rift. After making her way through the castle to find her father, the King of Hyrule, Tri explains that he must have been here the whole time. Making their way into the downstairs of the castle allows them to get into the boss dungeon of Ganon. I'm going to take a pause right here to say that Piggy Ganon is supposed to be the form of Ganon when the Triforce of Power takes him over for too much. It's supposed to... Yeah, that's what happens when you wield the Triforce of Power. You turn into a monster, and in extreme cases, get turned into a powerful dust to take over Hyrule, referencing Breath of the Wild there. After defeating Ganon and letting Tri's friends go, Link pops up to save Zelda from the being Null. And this time, it's the real Link, not like those imposters Zelda had to fight. Link manages to fend off Null, but not before Null seals Link up in a crystal and takes it with him. Poor Link. Hyrule Castle Town's rift is mended, and Zelda appears back in front of the King of Hyrule. After the King of Hyrule realizes what's happened, he starts needing to fix some of the things that the Dark Echoes have started doing by first proving Zelda's innocence. After having a little bit of rest, Zelda makes her way back into the throne room for a little discussion with Ludwig, General Wright, Impa, and Mr.L, and the King of Hyrule. After going over a little bit, they discover that the rifts aren't actually natural causes after going after the prime energy. And this being that Link defended Zelda from clearly proves it. Listen, that's all I got as far in as the main story, so I'm not going to be able to say anywhere else. Not in the game itself, anyway. Let's start off with the first two games in the franchise. Timeline-wise, we have Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword and Minish Cap. And I'm sure that there are a couple of more cases where Zelda and Link don't know each other, like, personally. But let's think about Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And at the end of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Zelda and her childhood friend Link, which they're basically in love with each other, defeat Demise, and Demise curses them with his last words to reincarnate no matter what. It's a whole thing. Whenever there's danger. Echoes of Wisdom is my theoretical first reincarnation of Link and Zelda, which is probably the first real reincarnation before Vati and Legend of Zelda Minish Cap and Link to... I think maybe Link to the Past or Four Swords. It's either one of those, I forget. Tons of millennia later, we get Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, but somewhere in that millennia, we probably have the first reincarnation of Zelda and Link. And let's take a moment to pause here. Demise also resurrects as Ganondorf and Ganon over and over again, as Link and Zelda does. At the beginning of the game, Link fights Ganon in the Southern Temple to rescue Zelda, and when he gets defeated, he just laughs and fades away. This is where things start to get a little bit interesting. That Ganon was Demise, but what was Demise and the one that brought Demise back? Here's where things get even more interesting. Girahim, or whatever the heck his name is, was just a local demon that brought Demise back to life. Demise's first reincarnation himself was as Pig Ganon, which is probably why it's the form that Ganondorf takes whenever the Triforce of Power gets too strong for him. but unless you count Calamity Ganon, yeah, then we can all assume that that's the reason why it's always Pig Moblins and Pig Ganon and stuff. But the thing is that both Ganons fade away the same way. So here's what my theory is. Demise was also created by Null in the first place. He wasn't a Dark Echo. No, he's an OG creation by Null. That's all I can think of for why. That's just, I don't have anything to say anymore. I'm speechless. I assume that Demise was probably one of the most powerful things that Null had created, and Null probably never even created rifts in the first place. I mean, it makes sense that Null created rifts, and it makes sense that it may have just been another term why Hilda, who couldn't use the Triforce after the three goddesses Din, Ferora, and Nehru disappeared, she couldn't use the Triforce, although took a piece of the sky, took a piece of the land, and brought it up to the sky known as Skyloft. So, and her soul reincarnates to be Zelda. And thanks a lot, Demise, you've kept that curse going all the way up until Link Between Worlds. Woohoo, good for you, whatever. I bet Demise was so powerful that not even Null could handle it, and Null was also restrained by the power of Demise as well. And Giraham, therefore freeing Demise, also unstrained Null for the centuries to come, not too long after Zelda and Link defeated Demise in the first place. Which is why there's no rifts in Skyward Sword when Link fights the Imprisoned and Demise. And I guess it kind of makes sense, but I've only gotten 2 hours into that game. I mean, I haven't even made it past the first temple, so I'm not really that far into it to actually know stuff at the moment. Although Echoes of Wisdom hasn't exactly been confirmed on the timeline. Remember, these are all just theories. The first confirmed time Link fights Ganondorf alongside with Zelda that isn't Demise, being reincarnated into Piggy Ganon, and being reincarnated into Ganondorf is Ocarina of Time, the major game that changed Zelda's history permanently. And let's also take a moment to refrain that in the 25th anniversary of Zelda, which was Skyward Sword was the actual time when the Zelda timeline was chronologically announced. I'm not sure how I may be using this wordplay wrong. I comment down below whether or not you think I'm using wordplay wrong, which I probably am. We have major groundbreaking games like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask being the direct sequel to Ocarina of Time, and Twilight Princess coming directly after Majora's Mask, having the hero of time dead and basically turned into a trainer, Stalfos and whatever. That goes along the kid timeline. What happens in the adult timeline is an entire different story, because Ganondorf rises up once again to take over Hyrule, only for the people of Hyrule to plead to the gods, Din, Ferora, and Nehru, basically, to save them. The hero did not appear, so the gods flooded the earth and told everyone to go to the mountains, which became islands in the long run of Wind Waker. And then Phantom Hourglass follows the... And then we have Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. This isn't a timeline breakdown, trust me. If it was, I probably would be at, Breath of the Wild by now. But now that may come to your minds, where does Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom fall into? Well, here's the crazy thing. They fall into their own category timeline. No split up at Ocarina of Time. They're just in their own separate timeline. So that's a little bit frustrating. Where does it fit in? Do they all connect? Do they all intersect on the does the Fallen Hero timeline, does the kid timeline and adult timeline all intersect and starts a brand new timeline via being Breath of the Wild, which leads into Tears of the Kingdom? Hey, I don't know, but don't take this all seriously, everybody. If what I'm saying is true and we may actually get a confirmed place on Echoes of Wisdom for where it is on the timeline, then what my theories could be correct, or it could be just fake. But it's all just a theory, and I'm not going to quote Matt Pratt on that because I don't run the Game Theorists channel. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit the notify bell. I really appreciate it, everybody. I hope you'll come back to see one of my next videos, because I'm hoping you can all type in those comments what you would like to see from Switch 2, because that's the video I'm going to be working on next. Bye, everybody. My name is Mr.L, and I don't want to fail. If you enjoyed the video, please share my tale. If you really liked the video, hit the like button below and hit the subscribe button if you want to help the channel grow. Hit the notify bell to see what's coming next. In fact, I have a podcast called What's Up and What's Next. Thank you so much for watching. Ludwig's gotta go. Check out my Discord, Mr.L's Minecraft Mix, and click either one of these videos. Bye, guys.